Welcome everybody, it is Unstoppable Streletsy with yet another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition caster game. So today we got ourselves another Deathmatch 3 versus 3. You remember the last one we did on, I think it was last week? That was pretty fun, wasn't it? You know, one thing you notice about those 3 versus 3 deathmatches is when you got a team with like 60k starting resources between the 3 players, a lot of stuff can happen, you know? And the fights often are a lot longer. And as you might be noticing here, this one's going to be pretty long. You know, I've gotten a bit of a warning from my provider. This is actually going to be the length of probably like most of the movies you can get on Netflix. So get your popcorn out, get your snacks. You know what I mean? You're going to be sitting here for a while. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm certainly am. Before we get started with it though, let's look at the map real quick so we can see what's going to go down here. So, in general, this map has a pretty big noticeable feature. That's, of course, the big X that goes through the map. These are the 2 trade routes, right? You got these 2 in the center here that could really be contested. I feel like the ones on the edge here are generally going to be safe trading posts for your team to build on unless somebody goes for a raid. And who's facing off, by the way? We got Britain, Germany, and France on this side. On the other side, we got 2 Portuguese. So, a lot of town centers, and then we get Mexico. So, let's get started. We got a lot to cover today. Alright, so starting with this side. This should be a pretty interesting combination here. You know, we see France competing all the time in Deathmatch. They get some really powerful options, such as their Royal Guard skirmishers, the Voltigeurs. They get their cuirassiers, a very strong splash cavalry. You combine that with Germany, they bring their war wagons and their Royal Guard skirmishers. And then England usually just changes their longbowmen to the Rangers, another powerful skirmisher unit. And then, of course, they get redcoats, they could send rockets. In general, this team here is going to have some pretty strong cavalry and skirmisher options, with a bit of good anti-cav too from the British. As for this side, we got the 2 Portuguese and a Mexico. Now that's going to be a pretty interesting one. You know, 2 Portuguese means that we're going to see a lot of light cav, a lot of dragoons perhaps. Also a lot of other units too. As we can see right up here, the France is already starting to get their production cards going. That their fencing school, their riding school, and their engineering school basically makes the infantry faster, the cavalry faster, and the artillery faster. And the way they get that instantly is building a church, again, mercantilism, since, as you know, in this point in the game, shipments are very cheap in XP points, so getting a big tech like mercantilism will certainly grant you 5 shipments from the start. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the beginning. As you know, in Deathmatch, fighting begins pretty much instantly. And that's why I saw before you saw Minutemen. Yeah, that's what these Minutemen are for, pretty much. You can either rush forward with these Minutemen, or you can sort of leave them back over here as a support unit to get the initial flow going. Right now, we see a lot of light cavalry, a lot of dragoons between this player, this one, and what's this one going with? Now, the Germany's going a bit more varied. We see Horse Arty, we see the Prussian Neilgar skirms, and we see Uhlans. So, it seems like we got 2 light... Oh, longbowmen. Interesting. So, British longbowmen. Are these going to stay longbowmen, or are they going to become rangers? That's a good question to ask. Well, they could certainly turn into... Well, they would need this card, right? The Glorious Revolution to actually turn them to Rangers eventually, right? Yeah. Right now, though, we see a bit of a fight over here with some Mexican Vigilante, Salteadores, and some Dragoons of theirs. And Culverins, too. So, Culverins are going to be used to keep these horse artillery away. The Salteadores are obviously a pretty good skirmisher unit. They can go stealthy, which is another little add bonus. You know, maybe they could be used for raiding a bit later. At the same time, we have the Portuguese pressing in from this side, and then we have the other Portugal pushing in from the middle here. formations are really going to matter here, since you're in a you're in this space over here, and how you push on your enemy is really going to decide who's going to make it through in the end. Obviously, resources are going to matter as well, since managing your economy the wrong way could lead to less units, and therefore weaken your side of the force. Yeah, definitely. You need to make sure that you're always pushing in units, and if you can't afford them, that's when things start to crack. Right now, we see some of those German Uhlans getting fished in by the Dragoons here, making short work of them. Uhlans, they don't have a lot of hit points, so if you can lure them in like that, that's the perfect way to deal with them. And then you can move on to the war wagons, you can move on to these Dragoons, but you do have to be careful of the longbowmen now. It's still an unknown if these are going to become Rangers or if they're going to stay longbowmen. Now, if they stay as longbowmen, oh wow, we actually see siege archery here. I just saw that, so there's actually a good chance these could stay as longbowmen. The advantage of keeping them as longbowmen is they get a long siege range, so they can act like little mini mortars from long range, firing their big flaming arrows at the towers. Also, their range overall is going to be longer if they stay as longbowmen than if they go to become Rangers. At the same time, up here, we see more Vigilantes, and we actually see some Chalos. The Royal Guard for these Chananko Riders. They're basically just, you know, Lancers, good against skirmishers, also artillery. I guess they made some of those to try to push their way in here. Looks like they got kind of shot up at the moment. Sort of right now, the key seems to be artillery, skirmisher, and light cav. We see Cazadors, Vigilantes on the skirmisher side, lots of Dragoons, and then we see Culverins and horse artillery in the back, you know, trying to blast apart the infantry and do a bit of siege work. Now, in terms of siege work, this could be kind of serious over here. You really need to watch out for this. You got mortars on you. And then these longbowmen could be given the siege archery card, and they could actually get involved in the sieging as well. So to deal with that, organ guns are going to be really important. Yeah, keep stacking up those organ guns. They also somewhat protect these mortars here as well. Yeah, until the Royal Guard British Hussars get involved. The King's Lifeguard Hussars, that is. Oh wow, look at that, they just went right into that melee there, got completely disassembled. Wow, not good. Yeah, I mean, in that case, you may as well just make like a super duper cheap ordnance pikeman like that. These guys are really strong, and they're also really cheap as well. So a very good budget option to keep your resources up through the fight. As you can see here, all these players are going to try to get 3 town centers if possible, you know, keep their villager queue going, because 20k of each resource does not last forever. You need to start thinking about factories, which we see British already have, also getting your mills down, your estates, just sort of plan out your eco, and also the timing of which you get your sustainable agriculture, refrigeration, royal mint also matters a lot. Because earlier acquisition of that means a lot more resources in your pocket to throw around for more expensive units like, say, cannons, even mercenaries. Which reminds me, is Germany going to go mercenaries perhaps, because they're sort of that sort of a mercy civ? I'll look at that right now. I just want to see if we see anything like that. Oh, they do get the mercenary camps card if they want to send that, for sure. Definitely, so there's a good possibility we could perhaps see that at some point. Maybe some Jaegers, some Lanch, Black Riders, something like that. That'd be pretty cool, right? Oh yeah, definitely. But you need to make sure you have enough coin for it. Oh wow, look at this. Hussars catching the Culves off guard here. No pikemen to defend them. These are completely left vulnerable and they're going to get sliced up. Oh wow. Yeah, you gotta watch your artillery though. It's great that you're making these budgety pikemen, but you need to keep them near the cans. Don't let them go forward. You know, if you have to change the formation a bit to keep them halted by the cannons to protect them, do that. You know, one way you can really burn through your resources in Deathmatch, let your cannons keep getting destroyed. You know, the longer your cannons last and the more value they get, That means a lot more coin for you and a lot more wood. So, one more advantage we see here is the Quizzlebash natives of the Sufi on part of the French. This is to be one extra unit that the French can use to keep their pop up a bit and add a little spam. But at the same time, the Green Portugal could also start sending these in as well. The Green Portugal has actually sent their Order Knights from the Royal Decree technology. So, yeah, we're going to see some Black Riders right now. These are a very powerful Dragoon unit. Lots of hand armor, actually. So, pretty impervious, actually, to Yuans, you know? Yuans are known for their hand attacks, so having lots of hand armor makes them really impervious to these. It's going to make them really hard to push through. It looks like, though, the French are trying to push through here. You see this wall set up over here? France is trying to move their Dragoons into a more forwarding position with the skirms, keeping the cold. Oh, the Moors are also coming forward. Also, they're going to be joined by some of the British Dragoons, so maybe a little bit more attention to hear from the Portuguese and Mexicans. That would be really helpful. So, are we going to start to see the siege archery real soon? Totally. Yep. See, this is siege archery. Notice how it changes its animation and it starts firing from long range with its flaming arrows. It basically turns these longbow into almost like mini mortars, so you're going to have to pay attention here, Yellow Portugal, if you don't want this fort to get down by them. You're probably going to even want to make some hussars maybe to start pressuring them. Because longbowmen, as you know, are a very powerful unit, both in regular play, also in arena. They have a really good rate of fire, so you really need to take care of this. Notice how much hit points are getting taken down on this fort just with these archers. These aren't even mortars, you know. They are picking apart the HP of that fort pretty easily without, you know, much resistance. And that's why you saw Portugal go forward with the Dragoons here. Some of the Caçadores, they sort of need to keep them, you know, in check, or else they're going to take down that fort really for free, without even having to spend a lot of coin to put a howitzer there. It looks like there's a big fight going on for sort of this section here where the wall is. These Yuans really want to get in there and start causing some havoc, which, oh yeah, look at that, they are. Look at these cannons completely vulnerable on here. They wanted to go for these Moors, but luckily the Dragoons were there to stop them. Very lucky. That could have been really bad. Alright, now we see these longbowmen starting to become a menace again. Dragoons, not the best thing to have in front of longbowmen. You're going to have to really get these Dragoon numbers up if you want to use that unit against them. But of course, the longbowmen, you know, as long as you have the wood, which, how much wood to do the... Oh wow, look at that. France running out of food right now. I just saw that going over the players there. Like, yeah, France is really not doing good on food. I just saw that. Also, the coin is down too. Wow. Somebody's going to help France out here, or they're going to basically lose real early here. I think somebody's probably going to sling them some resources, hopefully. How are they doing on their... Yeah, they really need to send these cards here. Eco Theory, Royal Mint, Textile Mill, and Sustainable Agriculture. I don't know why you don't have any cigar roller there if your resources are already dipping that low. The thing is, the less you know you're going to be able to manage your units and keep them alive, the more resource cards you need to sustain them. That's like really important. Very vital. Very vital. Yeah, in general it seems like there's only like 2 areas of offense here. You got this area around the incompleted wall, and then you have the British front over here. So for me, that's not a lot to look. It's not a lot to manage. Like usually you're going, you know, scrolling over the map trying to look at multiple things, but at least I know for now there's only like 2 big areas of combat to have to worry about. It also means I can cover them a bit more detailed now, which is great. Yeah, I mean, right now it seems like Mexico is the main contender over here, using Vigilantes, Dragoons, also their artillery. Biggest thing is obviously making sure the Yuans don't reach them. Also make sure they don't get sniped by these French Dragoons either. But luckily for you, Mexico, France, really struggling right now. You know, their resources are really starting to fall. And therefore, that means you could probably do a pretty good job at pushing here, keep pressuring them, because if you can force France to keep showing away at that coin, that's really good, because they're going to slowly start to lose pop and you can start to really push in. At the same time, though, that team really needs to focus on this run, so maybe Mexico, maybe, or the other Portugal, maybe you send some Hussars over here and help your yellow ally out. This is not looking good right now. How is yellow Portugal doing? I want to see yellow Portugal. Yeah, wow, they're actually out of food. What are they doing? What is going on with this economy? What are they doing? Why were they not on mills? That's a big detriment. No food for Hussars. A Hussar costs 120 food. You don't barely even have that. You're going for like organ guns? Well, they're out of coin a lot too. What's up with the lack of resources, man? You're wasting units way too easily here. Yeah, lucky thing you have these organ guns to pressure these longbowmen. If you didn't have these organ guns, you would actually be looking at defeat right now, buddy. You would. And thankfully for these organ guns, the longbowmen have to go back. They have to go back and build up their numbers again. England, they can make more longbowmen. They're doing really well right now economically. And they didn't even get all their resource cards yet either, so once they start adding those in, this British is in really good shape right now to keep pushing and pressuring over here. That's going to be a weak spot for the Portugal and Mexico team to deal with, while they're trying to push out from this combined front over here. What are these, French musketeers? What's up with the musketeers? Why are you making musketeers, man? I don't see any real hand cavalry from the Portugal or the Mexico right now. I don't think musketeers is the way to go right now. You want to stick to bolts, you want to stick to dragoons and cannons. The only way you really beat skirm, dragoon, cannon is just more skirm, dragoon, cannon usually. The only other thing you could really do is, I don't know, make some cuirassiers and really thrust in hard from the side or something, but then again, you get a wall here, so that's really hard to do, right? You got this little gate that makes the forming pretty hard. Stowe. Stowe, help me! Send them in, send them there. What's going on? Oh wow! Whoa, 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 whoa! What is going on here? How did you let these get through? Who was sleeping on the job to let these ordnance pikemen get all the way up here? Yeah, thankfully you have a wall there. If you didn't have this wall there, this could have been really bad. Yeah, well, they're going to try to... Oh, wow, what? They could throw the torches from the gate here and still hit the factory. Oh, wow, that is still a... Huh. Wow. That's why wall building can be really helpful sometimes, you know? That wall at least ensures that some of the pikes are not going to be able to throw the torches, but they can still actually reach it from that gate. Huh. That's going to be a serious issue, because the more these factories that get burnt down, that's like a permanent resource loss for your team and that individual player, which makes them a lot less capable of pushing. It really does. What I want to see now is what's Teal going to do? What's Teal going to do at this point? Because clearly having that pikeman raid up there sort of kept them a bit distracted. Now Teal can continue to focus on their siege here of the yellow. That was a great move from the green Portugal though, because you know they were dealing with a lot of pressure in this area here, and they really needed something to distract them a bit and take some of the pain off, you know. They really needed to regroup a bit, and I think that gave them the chance to do it. Hussars, not a good place for them. The Dragoons are going to make quick work of them, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I get what they're doing here. They're trying to do a bit of pressure themselves, maybe attack some of those settlers back here, which they're... Oh, they're going for the mortars, which they clearly failed at. Yeah, these walls really messed that up. Maybe these Hussars, yeah, these ones might succeed. Yeah, they're going to get these ones, because they just happen to be there at the right time. And they could even come up here and get these mortars too. I think they... Nah, actually nah, just way too much light cav here. Alright, now we're starting to see the return of the longbowmen again. The return of the archers. The Robin Hoods. The Tally-Hoes. Let's see if they can take out all these dragoons here. What is actually the range of these organ guns compared to the longbows? Ah, so they actually have the same range. Interesting. With the Yeoman. Oh, wow. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that artillery actually had the same range as the archers. I would have thought that the longbowmen would have had slightly more range than the cannons and would be able to basically hit them from farther away. Looks like not. Ah, wow. We also see some Akan natives, the Akan Oncobias. They're a very powerful navy unit that deals a bit of splash. Sorry for that, a bit of a sneeze. Going back to this flank over here. These mortars really want to get in here and start blasting stuff. Whose fort was that, by the way? Well, that was for the Pink Portugal, or the Mexico. Oh, that's Mexico trying to put a fort there. Unfortunately, you got cannons there right now, so I would stop trying to build a fort right now, sort of clear this area out, which is going to take a little bit of time, unfortunately. So I'm not sure when you're going to get that fort down. It might take a while, right? Right, so this is actually kind of important here, and one thing I'm going to watch. We do see this French courier de Bois starting to put down stables on this side of the map. This could actually be pretty serious, and they could start running hussars in. Well, they'd actually have to siege this wall to do that, but hypothetically, with enough hussars with pillage, you know, with the with the advanced arsenal siege bonus, they could actually get through here. Yeah, definitely. I like that ability, you know. I like that technology from the advanced arsenal. Basically allows your hussars to gain more siege power, and all the rest of your hand cavalry as well. It's pretty powerful, because you don't think of hussars as like a siege unit. You usually think of like pikemen and cannons, but that technology does make hand cavalry better for sniping factories. Yeah, if you could take the factories out, that's usually a great thing. Definitely a great thing. Oh, now we see British hussars trying to deal with these pesky organ guns, you know. Once the organ guns go down, then the longbowmen get their chance to start making work of the fort again. Yeah, so Portugal's going to try to make as many organ guns as possible to deny the longbowmen their supremacy in this battle. Also, the choice to make some hussars here, another good choice. They'll also pressure the longbowmen quite a bit. The thing about longbowmen is they cost wood. And there's obviously not infinite trees on the map. It's one of the resources that isn't as quite renewable, I would say. That's why you actually see this British factory here starting to trickle wood, right? What happened to the other British factory? Did the other one get sieged? Did the other one get sieged at all? I think so. I think the other one got sieged. Yeah, looks like it did. Or something happened to it. Yeah, it looks like the other factory got sieged. That's actually kind of bad, because that would definitely hinder your ability to spam longbowmen any further once they start getting decimated a lot more. Good chance they would actually have to switch to Rangers. Yeah, through the Royal Decree, the Glorious Revolution. British is actually starting to lose some coin, it looks like. Just something to keep in mind for them. They could certainly make a lot of longbowmen to deal with the dragoons, but in terms of dealing with the organ guns, yeah, you're going to have to start managing your dragoons pretty good here. Yep. Do we see any Yep, now we're starting to see some Cassadors come in to deal with the dragoons, so British might have to make sure that they're backing their dragoons up as soon as the Cassadors really start getting involved here. Yeah, that's going to be really important. Now, Ordnance Pikemen, good choice. I mean, considering that this yellow Portugal is really struggling a bit in resources, pikemen can be a great solution here to pressure dragoons, also to go after culverins as well, so they get close enough. Oh no, now we're starting to see the siege archery again over here. Now we're starting to see siege archery. Siege archery. Bit of a tongue twister there, trying to siege again. Yeah, these flaming arrows. If you don't deal with these two enough, these are enough to take down the fort, which of course puts this area in more danger. Then they can start targeting the outposts, they can start sniping down the buildings, and then they start getting close to the wall. Wow, we see petards. Petards. Look at all the French petards there. It just opened up this path. Wow. I want to look at France right now. Is France going to make more of these petards? No, they're just going in with mortars. Mortars, wow. They could actually plop those down right here and hit this farm. That could be disruptive. You know, they don't even have to really go in. Oh wow, they could hit the factory from over here. They didn't even have to take down that wall piece. They can already start hitting it. Look at the range of these mortars doing the job. That is going to be really serious for the Yellow Portugal to deal with. Yeah, and then they can start hitting this farm here. I feel like this Yellow Portugal is going to be a thorn in the side of the Mexico and Portuguese team, really. You know, you see Mexico and Green Portugal here doing a valiant fight here against the Germans and the French. But if their yellow flank falls, that could be real serious. Also, the choice of dragoons here a little bit questionable, since they do have some bolts here to try to take down the light cav. Oh yeah, look, that mill just went down. They're actually attacking their houses as well. And since this is post-industrial age, you're not going to be able to get the immigration technology that you could in Imperial, which is going to be a serious issue, you know? Take down enough houses and you'll see the population start to wane as well, which can disrupt the combat quite a bit. Now we see the French hussars going through this entranceway towards the settlers. Another serious problem. And then you got, of course, the Portuguese cavalry occupied over here and nobody defending over here. Right, and then you got their army over here anticipating the longbowmen. This is a good multi-pronged attack against the Yellow Portuguese. It seemed to be a very soft spot for this team right now. You know, if you can exploit that, that should be really good. Though, is this lag? Yeah, it seemed like the hussars just sort of stopped there in front of the pikes. Yeah, I think they might have experienced a little lag there and they didn't realize that or something. Well, and at the same time, of course, you got the longbowmen ready to start attacking this fort again from long range. Not much doing about that. I mean, you even got some hussars here, which could conceivably stop their hussars a little bit. Way too many arrows here for comfort. I think once you start getting to this many arrows coming towards the fort, this fort has a real chance of starting to fall, especially when you got hussars in the front here killing the Castadors trying to defend it. You need to get these hussars up here right now if you want to defend this thing. Also, Yellow Portugal, why are you idling your mortars? This is not good. These units are really expensive, man. You really need to defend these things. Yeah, well, yeah, seriously. That's not good. Really not good. This is another fort of theirs, so British are now going to have to deal with that fort too. Oh, they lost this fort. That's not good. Not good at all. Yeah, this Portugal is really struggling for resources right now. I don't know if that's solely based on the factory they lost. Well, they actually had poor resources while they still had the factory. They had two factories. They still got one, luckily. And now Portuguese are basically forced to start getting all those resource cards now. Team House of Braganca. I don't know about this card. You know, probably would have gotten something a bit different here. But anyways, good thing they're starting to get those, you know, cards like Cigar Roller. Because they really need to start making up resources here real fast, especially with the loss of a factory. If they can't keep up the resources, they're going to slowly start to lose on this front here, and then this front here is going to start to fall apart. Which, by the way, how are they doing over here? We haven't checked them in a while. You know, this area's been pretty action-packed right now. Oh wow, halberdiers too. Mortars and halberdiers. So, wakey wakey, wakey wakey. Oh yeah, wakey wakey is right. This Mexico and Portugal here is starting to gain ground, it looks like. Yeah, look at this fort starting to come up. You know that fort that kept getting denied earlier? It looks like it finally got up, and now they're actually, Mexico's starting to make another fort. So this front is starting to falter on this side. But on this side, they're starting to win down here. You know, that's good gameplay when you're starting to see both teams start to lose ground. It's not like a one-sided victory here. Yeah, while this yellow Portugal is certainly a soft belly that you can exploit, the fighting over here is not going too well for that team. You know, they're starting to lose a bit of ground here. If this fort goes up for Mexico, maybe they secure the side of the trade route and they can start, you know, working their way towards these towers and then to the walls. Then that would be a very serious gain for them. But from the looks of it, now France and Germany are starting to surround this fort a bit here, and they're going to deny this fort. Perfect. Good. U1s are going to chase down the vigilantes, the skirmishers. Now France is going to make sure that this fort can't be constructed anymore. Yeah, that's a good save for them. You know, that certainly averted a serious issue. Because having forts right here for Mexico means direct pressure onto this section. And then right beyond this wall was the economy. Whatever happened to those mortars here? Looks like they were able to be countered. Skirm Stowe. Yeah, Stowe, stop making musketeers. Stop making musketeers, Stowe, boy. Stop making muskets. They're not making hand cav. Well, there's a couple of charros, but every time I look over here, I really don't see a lot of, you know, hand cav. I think I've only seen these charros like 2 or 3 times this game when I've looked over here. Really, they've mostly been going like dragoons and skirms for the most part. So, going with more of a Voltaguire comp is probably preferable. Yeah, because even right here, the U1s are just going to beat the charros anyways because they have the better hand attack. You know, it doesn't matter if you have multipliers against hand cavalry and, you know, skirmishers. If you got a large mass of U1s surrounding you with really high hand attack, they're just going to dominate you with that glass cannon style damage. Oh, wow, look at this. A complete turnaround on this side. The Mexican fort over here was sieged down, and now Germany and France is going to start to push at this wall again. So it's a little bit back to square one, it looks like. However, it seems like the Mexico did start to finish some of the walls that they were working on over here before, which is going to make it a little bit harder to enter. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa. Culverin shots and the charros taking out those cannons. Now the charros are... Yeah, definitely. Yeah, U1s have been using a pretty interesting thing at this point. Normally you would say, yeah, why are you making hand cav when you see dragoons? Well, the thing is about U1s, they do a lot of damage, so if you could keep throwing them in the front lines there, they could start to cut through even the dragoons a bit with their high hand attack. Well, before they get shot down quickly, obviously, due to the low HP. So yeah, it's just another unique option Germany has of pushing forward on the battlefield. So now we see mercenary camps. Those very special German buildings that lets you make mercenaries from them. So are we going to start to see mercenaries from Germany? Yeah, we're going to see a queue of Jaegers coming out. Jaegers obviously a very strong skirmisher mercenary. At this stage they have about 42 damage. Was improved mercenary sent? Can you tell if this is sent? You have already sent this card. Alright, so these are really as far upgraded as they're going to be at this point. Going back down to here, though. we still see the threat of longbowmen to the buildings. Yeah, maybe they're going to want to take these longbowmen back and start targeting these towers first. Obviously, they have to be careful of the organ guns as well over here. Yeah, might want to actually take down this wall first before they engage with anything beyond this point, just so they can use these Caesars to keep the organ guns away. Because unfortunately, you can't outrange the organ guns with the longbows. They have about 26 range each. So it makes it kind of hard for you. Going back over here. How are these Jaegers doing? Are these Jaegers going to make a big difference, or maybe not? The thing about Jaegers is they do a lot of damage, but they do cost 2 population, me and Mercy units. You know, they have a bigger pop cost. So you have to balance the pros with the cons. And well, for right now, they're going to keep making these Jaegers, it looks like. We're going to have to see if their damage output justifies them that much against these skirmishers here. Now, you might be wondering, how did Mexico get Voltaguires since their unit's the Salta Tiradore? Well, Mexico actually gets a pretty substantial card here called Plan of Malamele. All your Salta Tiradores transform into powerful French Voltaguires. Infantry armored rifles gain more range. So it's actually an upgrade card and a special one that turns your Salta Tiradores into the more, I would say, more standardized skirmisher type. That does a little bit more damage, I think. Yeah. A little bit better at combat. Whereas the Salta Tiradores are more like a special unit with stealth. You know, a little bit more like Mexican ninjas with rifles. Rockets have been added into the mix, it looks like. Yeah, from British. Now, where did these rockets come from? Are these from the... Yep, they're from the Infinite shipment, so British can actually afford to keep using their factory on wood and just keep shipping in these rockets with their shipments now, since it seems like they got all the cards done except for the Royal Decree. Yep, so 2 cards here, those can keep going into rockets. Right now, I don't think rockets is the way to go, since of course you got green Portugal force here to help their yellow ally out. Yellow has been struggling here, which is basically forcing the other Portugal to get involved and sort of add their strength to the front. At least for now. Once they feel like they got a bit of control here, they can move the Dragoons back up to this front again. They do have to be careful not to run into this wall of Jaegers and skirmishers, though, because it appears both... It seems like actually this whole team is doing Jaegers, you know. Even the British with their longbowmen are also adding Jaegers in as well. So this is like the Jaeger team, pretty much. The team of hunters. Since Jaeger in German is a hunter, obviously. So yeah, this team is really hunting for a victory, it looks like. Yeah, yo, Portugal, good job. Good job. You definitely want to get rid of those towers. You know, this front here has been a real serious problem for you. You've had people sending cabin, pikemen, even petards to attack these walls. So a great way you can negate that, yeah, take out those towers. Maybe attack some of these production buildings as well, since it's not truly developed here too much. You just have to take these 3 down at least. Oh, you gotta make sure you manage your troops too, though. Yeah, the combination of longbowmen, dragoons, Jaegers, just sort of beating it over on this front right now. Oh, British also doing some of their guard pikemen from their, what is that, gentleman of the pike card? I don't even, did they get gentleman of the pike? Nah, it looks like they get guard anyways, so that's pretty good. Jack, come and assist. I just deleted 80 villagers. Wow, so you deleted 80 villagers. Whoa. That is not good. That means that somebody needs extra population to survive. I'll look at Germany right now, actually, and see 22 settlers and how many of the settler wagons. So mathematically, about 62 population of villagers, pretty much. So yeah, at this point, Germany's thinking, I'm really going to need some extra population to justify the Jaegers, also to support the Yuan pushes. But at the same time, you're going to have to make sure that you have enough estate gatherers to afford both the mercenaries and the Yuans, which cost more coin than the Hussar. 100 coin, in fact. I ask you, come assist. Yeah, I agree with that. This resource count for Germany is not good. He deleted his villagers and now his resources are starting to dip a little bit. Look. Yeah, that's... Luckily, Mexico blundered a bit over here and now the Yuans can snare them and take those out. Giving them an easy beat. Give me a minute to remake villagers. Yeah. They're kind of forced to make some settlers right now, I think, to keep their eco balance at 35 right now. Yeah, from the queues. Yep. 35? Oh, so really, mathematically, they only have like 18 on the field, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's sort of why the German resource stockpile is starting to dip a little bit. And they're going to have to be careful of that, you know. It might seem worth it at times to cut down your build pop to get your Yuan mass higher, but once those resources start to go down, that could be a bit of a risk for you. Absolutely. As for the France, though, the France here is doing quite good, Don Stowe. France can certainly lend a lot of support and resources to his team, and if Germany needs it, maybe he could sling him some of his coin to make some more mercenaries. We don't see a lot of pressure over here, though, which I'm kind of surprised by. Yeah, but it does look like British deciding to send some help over here, starting to target the Portuguese mortars here with the goons. Ah, so British completely leaving this here old Portugal alone right now. I think they almost seem like, yeah, this here old Portugal has not been a serious threat. Let's deal with the green Portugal and the pink Mexico, since they seem to be the more formidable fighters. Yeah, that could serve them well, teaming up like this, or it could bite them if the yellow Portugal goes for a major push. They could conceivably attack over here, which they don't have a wall. Well, wait a second. Yeah, they do have a wall over here, though. Alright. Yeah, I feel like for now, though, maybe British join in on this side is probably going to help out quite a bit. Certainly, putting Longbowmen in the back. Great way to deal with all these light cav coming in from these Portuguese here. And certainly allows the other two to make a push for their artillery. Yeah, this is really annoying for Longbowmen. Yeah, they can't outrange the organ guns, and then the organ guns can hide sort of in this wall area, which prevents the Hussars from pressuring them at all. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for the Longbowmen. You might want to consider blowing up some of these tactical walls here, just so you can reach the organ guns easier with the hand cap. They max pop. Oh, now we're starting to see the old Portugal starting to do some fighting over here. The teal British villagers trying to wall this area up, though. But now they're going to get caught in the crossfires and start to get shot by all these dragoons. Ooh. Maybe you shouldn't have underestimated this Portugal here. Now they're going to start to hurt you now. Oh boy. Yeah. Now we're starting to see more units here, you know, more archers, more dragoons, even some red coat muskets. Yeah, they're gonna have to start paying attention to this front again, because it looks like the yellow Portugal is back with the resurgence. How much of a resurgence? It looks like, yeah, they do have some more resources now, so this is going to be an area that the Teal British are going to have to deal with a little bit more now. I noticed before that the British were actually, yep, they're starting to queue up rockets in their home city with all those cards that they have. So that's going to be one more thing that these Portuguese are going to have to deal with, you know. The rockets are actually a really nasty artillery piece to deal with. As you can see here, they don't even have a malice against cavalry units, so conceivably these rockets in large numbers could actually blast apart even the dragoons of the Portuguese quite easily, especially once they start to get in higher numbers. Right now they have about 6 rockets. 6 rockets, that could be pretty serious here. Especially with Don Stowe adding in their dragoons as sort of a protection against hussars. Yeah, these rockets are a serious threat. Spare resources. Oh wow, Don Stowe sent some resources over to the British. So that's why their resources are looking on. Very interesting. Don Stowe's one of the only ones with 2 factories, so that's going to allow him to place his sword, the slinger. Shit, send to Eli. Send to Eli. Yeah, send him to Germany. The Germany needs some help. Germany needs some Ayudar right now. How is the Germany doing? Yeah, the Germany could certainly use some help right now. Ah, this is actually kind of sends a band of Hessian Jaeger mercenaries to the entire team. So that is why we've been seeing Jaegers for the whole team. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, I rarely think about this card. I've remembered it a little bit from the Asian Diocese. So yeah, basically it sends the Jaegers to the entire team, so as long as Germany is underpopped, you know what I mean? They can actually send a bunch of extra units into the stockpiles of everybody else over their population. Because, you know, these Jaegers don't get put into the pop numbers of everybody else until they actually arrive, so if the other players manage their armies real well, they can then get a bunch of extra mercenary skirmishers added on top of their regular army, which, as you know, can overpower them. In particular, in Moors of Liberty, they had a similar card from the Mexicans that I could do that with the Insurgentes back in the day, you know, those very powerful, like, crossbowmen style armored Mexican infantry. Yeah, that was a good unit, you know. But I think Jaegers, it works good too, since Jaegers is, you know, very overall powerful unit with a lot of damage. They have 40% pierce armor, which is nothing to laugh at. It's actually just under that of the Cazador, but of course these Jaegers have more HP than the Cazadors, so not as vulnerable. Oh no, now we see the organ guns coming in with the dragoons. They completely overpower these rockets. These rockets are down. What's going on this run? Ah, so the rockets actually didn't die. They just went over here. The rockets just went over here, man. Wow. Look at these rockets. They actually killed the light cav. Yeah, rockets are a real serious menace. If they can keep these rockets going on this side, I feel like the John Stowe and Angel of Death team might be able to push through over here, which would be really good for them. You know, let's see if they can get these rockets in any further. But that's also going to depend on if the green Portuguese or pink Mexicans make any culverins. Oh, so they took down a stable. They're going to take down another stable. Slight glitch. What's a slight glitch? Yep, they're going to start to take down this stable next. Because if they can start pressing on the production buildings, that makes it harder for, you know, these 2 players here to keep resupplying this area. Yeah, Yellow Portugal realizing, yeah, we have to get our dragoons in right now to start attacking these rockets, and forces the rockets in turn to have to shoot at them. You know, because they can't deal with light cav forever, they need to shoot back at them. Yep, now we see these rockets starting to try to show... Well, actually, no. Because there's so much pressure over here, the rockets came and aim at the true targets right now, which is kind of unfortunate. You know what I mean? That's a lot of shipments gone. But as the British, since you don't have any other cards to send, I think at this point it's safe to say they got enough XP to replenish this, perhaps. You know, without having to reroute their factory at all. Yep, finally the rocket threat is gone. Now these over here can start to push back a little bit. Oh, heavy cannon, Germany. How's Germany making those? Are they shipping those in, or? Yeah, those are coming from the factory. Yeah. That came from the factory, yeah. Because I don't see any heavy cannon card in the deck here. So yeah, certainly this was a factory cannon that they sent out. Oh, so we see some guard pikemen trying to make a move on the organ guns is added. Yeah, that's certainly one solution, but unfortunately Portugal can soar through their own pikemen, the ordnance pikemen, as a measure to block your pikemen. So you have to be wise on how you deal with this. Now, one thing you can do, culverins, another thing you can do, have your ally come in with some of their stuff. Looks like France is going to do the culverins here, though, to deal with the organ guns. British just keeping their dragoons in the back, and the Jaegers again from their German ally to sort of clean house against these, yeah, pretty much clean house against these dragoons. Yeah, it's kind of a turn of events here. Now we're starting to see the yellow Portugal going really far here and start to pressuring into the base. Yeah, as I've been looking at this, I'm noticing, wait a second, this is their estates. This is their mills. The yellow Portugal, who was once defenseless before, is now starting to press deep into their side over here. Even their mortars, yeah, their mortars could very well take a shot out of this estate here, which could disrupt economy. Yeah, that will disrupt their ability to acquire resources. And on this front is still more or less the same. We see that sort of fourth location acquired again by Mexico, so they're starting to plan something up over here. But let's see how long this Portugal yellow mess over here can last. Can they deny this tower? Yeah, I think this front's going to be cleaned up pretty soon, since we see the Redcoat Musketeers and Dragoons starting to reclaim it a bit. Also, the blue German Uhlans actually forced to get involved as well. Now, wow, we actually see all three players on this front now, trying to defend it. Doppelsolners? What are the... Oh, Doppelsolners. That's a kind of an interesting choice, you know. Pretty slow unit, but they have a really good splash attack. You know, they have a really powerful attack with their swords. But all that over there has basically allowed the pink Mexicans to get it set up over here and start shelling them. Oh, geez, look at that. Attacking the stable, they could start attacking, let me see what Mexico sees. I want to see what Mexico's line of sight is here. So yeah, Mexico could certainly start targeting this estate over here. They can see it right now. And then they got their skirm source set up over here, but they have to do it quickly though. They don't have a lot of time. You're starting to see the Coles and horse artillery trying to force their way in over here. But of course this fort could resupply them pretty well. What are the Moors doing? Just shoot. Shoot. Open fire. Don't worry about the barracks. Kill the farm. If you could take out an estate, that is a bigger, serious blow to Germany, who is relying on that coin for their mercenary cards and their Uhlans right now. Their mercenary card, if we look at it, how much does that cost? That's about a 1k coin cost. So if you can attack one estate, that's going to hurt quite a bit in their pocketbook. But unfortunately now we're starting to see these German U1s trying to get creative here and trying to find a way to cause problems. Oh, that's where we saw another push right here in this spot. Again, we see a bit of a skirmish here again between the teal British and the yellow Portuguese. That side is starting to get contested a bit again. I don't think the British want to leave that area alone anymore because they sort of leave yellow Portugal alone thinking, oh yeah, they're as harmless as a fly pretty much. And then they're sending mortars all the way deep into your base over here. So you really need to be careful of that. Really. And for them, this team over here, they need to get this wall down pronto. This Portuguese green wall here. Because you literally have a mercenary camp ready to go down right over here with the foundation. They got a mercenary camp right in here. Imagine all the siege they could do with some Lance mercenaries starting to siege away at your barracks here. That's a serious threat. Especially considering the Lance get a charge attack too. Pretty serious. Pretty serious stuff. Pretty serious stuff. Now we start to see the Mexican mortars waiting. Hopefully they don't lose this fort again. You know, every time Mexico puts a fort in this area trying to get ahead, it gets knocked down somehow. So maybe they're going to get a bit lucky and get to keep this one. We'll see though. We'll see. We see cannons coming in. We see a lot of skirmishers here between the two. Also some spare Uhlans. Let's see if this fort can survive over here and they can start to really fortify this position here. We're almost about an hour into the match. Hopefully you got your enough popcorn to last it. You know, if not, make sure you take a pause and get it because we got ourselves another half hour of this warfare to go. Yeah, this is a pretty big fight, you know what I mean? I like this type of warfare here. It's very intense. It starts really early and you get, in this case, over an hour and a half of it. So it's kind of awesome, you know. These players are doing a really good job endurance-wise. It must not be easy being able to keep fighting like this for over an hour and a half. Well, actually, I could speak to that myself, you know. In the Wars of Liberty days when we used to do a lot of free-for-alls, and we still do them, I could keep fighting for like 2 to 3 hours straight. Like actual late game fighting. Yeah. I've done some pretty crazy feats, a lot of which were when I was younger, unfortunately, I couldn't record stuff on YouTube. Now, I want to start recording those, you know what I mean? I certainly have some older ones if you want to check them out, so feel free to check those. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, we still got a fight to cover here. So what's going on exactly? We got mortars starting to shell away at this wall again. It looks like British again letting Yellow Portugal get away with some siege work over here. Thinking that, yeah, we got all these fancy walls over here. We'll be able to mitigate it if they start threatening again. And it looks like a combined front of all three players converging on the center of the X. And then trying to converge into their base this way. The U1's the biggest threat, obviously. They have the biggest risk since they have the easiest time, really, of killing villagers. Some of them, oh no, they went too far. They could have stopped right here to get... Oh, but the British Hussars might be able to... What are they doing? What are they going for? Oh, they're getting greedy. They want to go for this big fancy hacienda back here. Haciendas, as you know, they can hold up to 20 villagers for gatherings. So if you can attack one hacienda, you can get yourself a lot of villas from it. Oh, they're going for the jackpot. Look at these Hussars going for the jackpot. And the jackpot they get. All these green settlers at their mercy. Oh, wow. Look at all that damage. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. That's going to leave a mark. And that affects the Yellow Portugal as well. The Yellow Portuguese wood choppers and farmers over here. Who's this? Oh, and now the pikemen finally get over there to start cleaning that up. That was a serious loss. There was a serious loss of economy. I wonder if they can recover from that, you know? Ooh, yep, they just got that. Oh, they got even more over here, killing more. This is like a serious gaping wound right here. It's oozing out. Look at that. You did more than scrape your knee on this one, folks. Look at these settlers just get sliced up. Total carnage. I love it. Yeah, this is good. You know, this is good when you can get a raid like this. What is the team doing? Why are the dragoons in the... Oh, they get hussars over here? These people don't know what they don't know how to manage this here. They're worrying about this side over here, and now this one's getting clobbered by these hussar sabers. Oh, jeez. And then they can move on to this one next. How are they doing? Now, this Portugal, the yellow one... Yellow one's actually doing okay. How about the green one? I want to know how the green... Ah, so thankfully both the Portugals have a lot of resources, so it's not that big of a mess right now. It's certainly going to take them some time to get those villas back, but thankfully for Portuguese, they always bring their handy 2 covered wagons card with them. It increases the build limit by 2, so they can have 6 town centers, which means 6 settler queues working at once, which makes the cleanup and recovery effort a lot easier than say if it was like say British or French. They can only have 3 town centers. They're literally getting like double the queues going, which makes settler casualties not that big of a deal. You know, instead of getting a big giant gash, it's like getting a little boo-boo that mommy can put a band-aid on for you, pretty much, right, with some ointment, you know? Doesn't hurt that much, right? It's not like a big nasty infection that's going to kill you. Yeah. Or like losing a factory. That would be another bad, big, serious injury to deal with too, economically. Yeah, now we're starting to see a bit of control here now. It looks like both the Mexico and the Green Portugal are finally getting this area under control. No more sneaky ninja Yulons and hussars slipping through the cracks anymore. Looks like they could finally start trying to defend this area. But as you see right here, Germany already has stables already next to this wall area, which makes a really easy accessibility for Yulons trying to enter in from over here. This is actually kind of a mess. Actually, Dawn Snow is also putting outposts down. This is another mess, since this basically acts as like a mini fort. You know, these cannonballs. It sort of protects this area and allows easier access of soldiers. Whoa, wait a second. Germany is in not a good shape, folks. Whenever you see crossbowmen on the field, that means that a player is really struggling economically, because crossbowmen, a budget unit, they basically mean you're running low on food and wood. Yeah, the wood is slightly low, but the food is really low. That's why we're starting to see crossbowmen here. But my thing is, why don't you make Jaegers? Make some Jaegers, make some, you know, some of the other mercenaries from the mercenary camp. Why are you going with crossbowmen? You know, I think certainly Jaegers would be a lot better than guard crossbowmen, honestly. Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Yeah, at the same time, it looks like we see some British rockets arriving from the home city again, and they're going to start to play a big role over here. Actually, if you could move these rockets a little bit up, you could shoot them right into the middle of this formation of working guns and completely wreck them without culverins. You know, it takes a bit of practice with Arena to realize how powerful the Congreve rockets and actually the Chinese flying crows are. You know, rocket-style artillery. They can do a lot of damage and stuff, you know. Even with the malice against cannons, a big group of rockets can still snipe a group of Ribalds pretty easily. Very easily. So what's Yellow Portugal going to do here? Are they going to keep trying to sneak on over here, or are they going to, you know, fight in the sort of this, like, center of the X over here, like it's been going on for a while now? Oh, so we do see Germany converging a bit. They're looking to deal with these yellow Portuguese now. Well, who are the organ guns aimed on? Are they aimed on the mortars? Yeah, the organ guns are actually shooting at the mortars right now because they know that's really the best way to target them with their unit comp right now. Looks like the Hussars are actually caught in the middle of these Uhlans, so they're going to get eaten up by the higher attack. Now the Moors can move on to the towers, and it looks like again Yellow Portugal is in danger of losing some territory. Yeah, they're going to have to watch out for that. That could be a serious issue. Also, some of the German skirmishers trying to protect here as well. Certainly the skirms are going to be more helpful against those ordnance pikemen they're trying to push in. We see, are they all? Yeah, some of them are Jaegers. That's definitely going to help since they have more HP and they do more damage. So yeah, that's going to be a good asset. Yeah, it really depends on how long these mortars last. Like, once these ordnance pikemen and hussars can reach the mortars and take them out, that's when you're sort of going to see this offense crumble. But if the mortars can stay alive and Germany can keep throwing units at the problem of protecting them, that means that they can start to really ramp up a side attack over here. But even if they can't do that, it frees up, it frees up resources over here for, the British and the French essentially to start attacking more over here. Those Doppelsolners. Kind of an interesting choice, Technically the Doppels could be conceivably good against the pikes and the hussars. So maybe that's a way that you protect the mortars, just go with Doppelsolners. The max out on their splash attack and their anti-cab multipliers, And they're naturally higher attack than the pikemen. Also, HP-wise, they're strong. They're more tankier than the pikes are going to be. By, like, double the HP. This is kind of an interesting fight, We see a lot of back and forth here. Because at one point it seemed like the Mexicans and Portuguese were going to break through. Especially on this front over here and at one point over here. And now it looks like they're sort of taking a defensive stance, They're starting to lose land at this point. These culverins completely getting shot by longbowmen. Longbowmen now starting to pressure the mortars. Oh boy, what's going on here, right? These long-range archers becoming a serious problem. You got to get your organ guns into position though, because if you don't move these organ guns up and start attacking the longbowmen if you're green Portugal, because the organ guns, they have the same ranges the longbowmen, and it actually forces them to retreat like that. That's the only way you can sort of deal with them. But it looks like, are they going to move these up and start chasing away these longbowmen as they should? Yes, it looks like it. I can start to see them getting rolled on over here. Yep, and now we see the German mortars setting up over here, doing some more shelling work. I think first on these walls, then this tower. Oh no, this is not good. Organ guns. You got a target here. Take it. Take it or leave it. I know you're doing good attacking the archers, but if you could take out the Moors too, that would be phenomenal. Really phenomenal. That would definitely give you a great benefit to do that. Let's see. What now? What's going on? Ordnance pikemen stopping the construction of more walls over here. Oh, wow. Good play with the pikemen. Taking out that mercenary camp. A thorn in the side over there. Good detective work in getting that down. We actually still see hunting taking place here. Oh yeah, I mean, after that food shortage before with Germany, I'm sure they're going to be looking on the map looking for Huns. You don't always think of that, when you're running out of, resources, always look for, mines and Huns to grab, since they're really quick sources of gathering, Certainly, somebody could start to move over here and grab all of these, I feel like. Certainly Mexico could, you know. They got their foundries and stables and barracks there. Also, for the other team, you sort of got this area of hunts and mines to use. So when you start starving a bit and you start running out of money, maybe start looking at those peripheries of the map for natural resources, which are pretty good to gather from. Oh wow, look at this close fight. Oh no! Horse artillery taking down the organ guns, targeting them. And now the skirmish units are going to start blasting the cavalry, hit long range, U1s, meat shield them in so they actually can't push through. Okay, so this is a pretty big fight over here, you know what I mean? A lot of pressure work over here to see who's going to press in more. Who's going to force themselves in better. Okay, so are these organ guns going to be pressured at all? Because the longer these organ guns last, the more it defends the area. If you can keep taking out the organ guns, though, then this team really has some problems. You know, then they have to deal with the threat of the longbowmen. Then, of course, the cans are losing one less threat, and they could start to move up a little bit more. How much do these... so yeah, about the same range as the organ guns, so they actually don't outrange them. I like how this British is using their horse guns to target the organ guns whenever possible. You know, you think of horse artillery as like an anti-infantry thing, but no, with those cannonballs, they can actually be used to snipe enemy artillery since they have really either the same or more range more often than not. You know what I mean? So, definitely use them for that. The only thing you don't want to do that with is like culverins unless you outnumber them pretty significantly. Stowe, you take native. So Don Stowe, he is the French, right? So he actually gets better stats thanks to wilderness warfare for his native warriors. So that could probably benefit him pretty well. Yep, definitely. And yeah, it doesn't look like they have any of the other combat cards, though, unfortunately. I'd say if they had that, yeah, definitely go for those Sufi natives and get those Quizzlebash in there. That could definitely help you out. Yo, Portugal, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Oh, you're killing settler wagons and settlers. Another blow for Germany, who at this point is, well, they're hanging in there, but not the... Oh, but look at this, though. The old Portugal, totally down on, you know, food. How many settlers do they have? So they only have about 58 settlers. Now, I find this to be a bit of a problem, you know. It's certainly good to reduce your vil intake to get your army mass up, but when you're running out of food like that, I think you need to at least stockpile settlers for a little bit longer, get that food up, and then maybe think about doing that again, because right now, the only thing you can really do to keep this, maximize your population is, get more culves or organ guns, right? And obviously, they can't protect themselves. You need, like, Cazadors, Dragoons, you need to defend cannons, you know what I mean? You just can't send them in alone most of the time, especially when the enemy can make their own cap, like these, the Splash Cavalry, the Cuirassiers. Yeah, and as we saw before, Don Snow included the Infinite Cuirassier card in his deck, so he doesn't even need to train these. He can just keep queuing these up in his home city when he gets a little bit population to spare. And yeah, these are a very powerful unit, you know. 3 pop, but they get the job done with their armor, their HP, their attack, and their splash. So a really good unit overall. This center of the X has been a bloody spot this whole game, I'll tell you. Real bloody spot. A real bloody spot. At this point, they got railroads and the trains working on it right now. I'm just trying to see who's like actually gaining right now, because this area has really been contentious this whole match at this point. Yeah, it looks like Mexico does have a fort over there though, so they're not doing too bad. I think at this point it comes down to resources. Like, right now, technically Portugal and Pink Mexico are fighting this almost like a 2 versus 3 at this point, because the yellow ally is just not coming through on resources, you know. And I think they realize that too, because look right here, we're starting to see the settlers get queued up at this point. So this yellow Portugal realizes, hey, I really can't train anything right now, and that's basically causing the 3 enemies to team up on my 2 allies, and eventually that's going to result in a defeat. So this yellow Portugal does need to use their 6 town centers, right, that they get. Oh no, wait a second. So the yellow Portugal did not get the 2 covered wagons. That is a problem. So they actually have only about 4 town centers, so that means that their villager recovery is going to be a bit slower than it could be. Oh yes, indeed it can be. I'm trying to see if there's any outliers here resource-wise. Yeah, only that yellow Portugal, it seems. Like, everybody else is doing fairly well on resources, so I don't think it's going to become a matter of hunger unless you're talking about the yellow Portugal resigning at some point and leaving the other 2 vulnerable on that flank. Yeah, this is a pretty intense fight over here. I mean, we've seen a lot. Guys, it's time. What is it time for? What is it time for? Petard spam. You know, Allahu Akbar. You gotta love that mode of this game. You just, you know, start blowing stuff up left and right. Yeah, do it. Petards, let's go. Let's start blowing things up. Let's light this place up a little, you know? Let's light this place up. Start blowing up everything. If you want to punch through their walls, petard time. Yeah, there's no other time but petard time. Petard's perfect way to crush through walls. So how are they going to do that? Do they have it? Yeah, France could do their petard spam through here. And oh yeah, I mean, if you're Germany, you could put a foundry up here and start petarding over here, and then start coming in on this side. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, because then you could throw some hand cab and start attacking down here. So where are we going to start to see the petards, folks? Did they use petards on this fort over here? I can't tell. I didn't see it in enough time. I do see a lot of culverins though, so. Oh, here comes the petards. Here comes the petards. Yeah. Petards, where are they gonna go? Are they gonna go over here and start attacking on the periphery? Yeah, it looks like it. I think they're gonna attack on the periphery with these petards just because they're less likely to die on the way to their destination. Also, yeah, you can use the Yuans in cover and start slicing up dragoons, start slicing up skirmies. You know, anything that's gonna get in the way of these. Ah, so they don't get a heavy infantry tag. Interesting. I never actually checked the tags of grenadiers of the petards that much. Yeah, I knew they were siege units, but I didn't know if they're like heavy infantry or light infantry or something. Doesn't look like they get those sort of tags, which means the skirms can't snipe them down as easily. Green Caçadors kind of caught into a pursuit here. It's kind of annoying when you got Hussars though, because the Hussars technically snare you a bit, which makes it harder in turn for the Uhlans to chase down the Caçadors as easy. Oh yeah, though, the Caçadors were chased right into their wall though, and they're going to start getting mowed down over here. Then of course we see Yellow Portugal trying to do something on this side again. But unfortunately the unit comp is a little shallow right now, and the teal longbowmen can of course rip that apart even without the culverins. You know, I think even longbowmen in a big mass could deal with this army comp real easily, because of course when you're spamming that many range units, of course they're going to start to take down the mortars at some point. Yeah, definitely. And of course there isn't the danger of like those Portuguese dragoons coming up and targeting your coves though. So yeah, definitely some benefits. Why this though? Why this? Why put an estate over here? Why not put the estate over here or somewhere safer? Why do you put in the estate outside of your walls? Are you just wanting the French to go in there and slice them up with some hussars or something? That's what it looks like to me, man. Doesn't look like you're taking it very seriously. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with it. Unit and building placement is really important. It really is. Just like unit placement over here is. See here where the units are positioned right now. What's going on? Why are these units idling? What's going on? What's going on with these units? The dragoons, are they shooting right now? What happened to them? Are these? Oh wow! Look, these dragoons are in hand combat. What's up with that? I think were they trying to go after the culverins or something? Why were those dragoons in hand combat? Total blunder, man. They should have been in ranged combat so they could at least deal out some range damage. Ooh, what's going on? Is the time getting to you or something? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is. You never know. You never know. When you're doing a match that's an hour and a half long. Definitely. Why just handcap? From who? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Why are they going all melee? Focus. Yeah, I'm asking myself the same thing. I mean, it seemed like they're doing better before when they're focusing on range. P-tards to get inside, dude. You high? Hi. I mean, the idea of going P-tards is not a high idea. It's a smart idea. Sorry, are you making progress? Are you making progress, son? Are you winning, son? Well, to me, it does seem like they are gaining a little ground, right? So obviously no fort over here anymore, and it does seem like, yeah, if you can get some of these P-tards in, get them on the stable, you're gonna slowly work your way in, right? I don't think that this Yellow Portugal has the resources really to become a threat anymore, so I think really whatever you can do to sort of cross over to about at least this point, that is probably perfect for you. That is certainly perfect for you. Oh yeah, and of course here you got this Yellow Portugal on the enemy team that's not doing a lot right now. I could look back at their yeah, look, they don't have any food, they don't have any coin, and they only have like half their max population though. So this is real easy pickings for the British, who have started to ship more of their rockets again, more of their concretes. Combine that with the longbowmen, and that's an easy siege of these towers over here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mortars being used as anti-longbow units. I could see that, you know. The great thing about the mortars is their barrage attack does actually outrange the archers. So, in a sense, yeah, mortars can be used, you know, defensively against longbowmen, it looks like. You could kill a Zico 3 versus 2, green on my side. Oh, wait a second, what's going on over here? Whoa. When did this happen? This is a full-on assault right now. Look at this. Legionario musketeers, hussars, mortars, organ guns. This was a move I did not expect until I looked at the chat over there like, what forward attack? Look at this. Is this going to be fatal? Is this going to be how it ends, folks? Now, I think they should have seen this coming because Pink Mexico was already had a presence here for a while now with their buildings. It just made sense at some point that the Green Portugal would go in there and start to do some flanking maneuvers. Yeah, like what do you do about this? This is a serious problem. And actually, Pink Mexico could actually drop their defenses down there and start pushing in through here as well. Right, oh yeah. Right now, though, it looks like the green mortars are going to focus on, you know, ripping apart some of these walls, making it easier to cross in. And then the mortars can focus on these walls over here, which is really super thick. Look at how super thick these walls are. 4-layer walls. And then you get these walls. So yeah, that's actually a lot of walling, you know. But the good thing is, it's a lot easier to defend this side of the river to prevent these mortars from getting targeted. That's one thing you can assure yourself. Oh, but then you, of course, yeah, you got like one barracks here though, but they can only, what, make pikemen? Pikemen can be used against cannons, you know what I mean? They're a massable unit, so yeah, see, the pikemen are actually doing alright against the mortars. But are they going to be able to get rid of all the potential artillery threats there? Of course not. You know, I think they're going to certainly help pressuring a bit. Occasionally, like they did there, they'll get a casualty in. But, you know, the point is that you're trying to confuse your enemy as much as possible in combat. You know, using different unit types, attacking different ways. So, you know, they have to adjust to everything. And then eventually just beat them out because they don't know exactly what they need to do to beat that army. Yeah, but look at this bottleneck that Green Portugal has put the Germans in. You know what I mean? It basically forces Germany to crumple up all their units in this spot, which makes it easier for Castadors, Dragoons, even the Ordnance Pikemen to move in over there and start poking them. Yeah, certainly. If you can box in all the German units into this river crossing here, makes it a lot easier for Ordnance Pikemen to disassemble their army, especially their Uhlans. You know, the Uhlans, less so the war wagons because they have hand armor. Becomes a bit harder and more difficult for them. Yeah, I mean, this was an unturned scene of events here. Oh, but what's going on over here, though? We see British moving into the base. Another turn of events. This one was more predictable, though, because I noticed that the yellow Portuguese were falling behind. And I knew at some point British, whether it was going to be earlier in the match or now, we're going to get into that base. It's just a matter now if the green Portuguese and pink Mexicans can help their friends out and the yellow friend out here and protect this side. Castadors in melee, you know, that's when you're desperate. When you actually have to put the Castadors in melee. Hurry into his base though, Jack. Yeah, get in there. You got a great opportunity right now. Get the Hussars in. Move them right over here. And you're good to go. Yeah, use that Hussar to kill the Chanankarier. He's snaring you. Perfect. I like how that rocket phalanx inside the wall there is sort of serving as a good distraction that's allowing these Hussars from Stowe to get in and start attacking things. Yeah, looky there. Hussars and Cuirassiers being used in the attack. Really, that is a good raid. You know, I think at this point it does make it more likely that this offense up here will stop. Well, if this offense up here stops completely, then basically I feel like the France, Germany, British team would win because they're starting to make actual gains into the base through this flank now. And if they're no longer have to deal with pressure up here anymore, they can take all that unit population and move it down to the south over here. Yeah. Yep, but now we see some of the British mortars trying to actually get in there and attacking the estates, which is going to prevent those Portuguese from recovering those resources. How are the other players doing on that team? Mexico, their coin is actually going down a bit. Now, the Green Portugal's biggest threat is food at this point, though they do have enough to sustain, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impossible right now to tell who's exactly going to win against who, but we do see some real serious stuff now. Like, one of these areas could fall, and that would result in that team's death. Before it was sort of like a lot of even fighting, little pressures here and there. Now we're starting to see an offense from both players. Green on this side, and teal, the teal and the red on this side. Yeah. Oh, but now we're starting to see the Ordnance Pikemen from yellow, that nifty cheap unit being used to start to push things out a bit. Can those pikemen make it to the rockets? Well, some of them did make it to the rockets, but they're swiftly put down, though. Yeah. What's going on over here? Because this has been a contention point for a while now. What's it going to take for them to finally press through on this side? Well, it's going to take a bit, because now we're starting to see Mexican culverins come in to deny the horse cannons entry. Also, lots of vigilante skirmishers and dragoons here. Charros, though, the Chanaco riders, moving in on this side. Yeah, they're going to be used to flank the longbowmen, it looks like. Whilst the Ordnance Pikemen just overwhelming the rockets way too much here. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect unit choice for that, for sure. Yep, definitely. Oh yeah, I mean, if you can sneak in some hand cab there and help your friend out, that's great. Especially when they're trying to wall up again here. Looks like that walling effort has stopped at this point. And now we're going to see another threat to the Portugal and Mexico base now from this side, from the British. Those rockets, though, making a big difference here. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you can keep sending Charros in. I feel like the rockets just doing way too much damage to even the Charros at this point. To the point that the longbowmen can actually last long enough to... Oh no, though. I see yellow, yep, made some hussars there, and they're starting to get some cuts into the rockets. It's not bad, though. I mean, I feel like at this point, I feel like British can hold their own over here, and they can start to slowly siege their way in. It's just a question if the Portugal and Mexico team will resign, or they're going to try to hold it out as best as possible. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, this British here is doing exceptionally well, Angel of Death. You know, they could start to use these rockets to attack that town center, they could start to attack some of those resource buildings. This side right now is starting to look like the end of the Portugal and Mexico team. Yeah, definitely. What's going on this front? This front is still active here. We see green Cazadores and Dragoons trying to keep this front going and prevent the Germans from effectively supporting down here. This sort of leaves the Red French on their own to fight against the Mexicans. So a lot of fighting all over the place at this point. We got fighting over here, we got fighting in this sector, and then we got fighting in this sector. So now the fighting is spread out a bit across the map. Before it was only like 2 major points of combat, now it's 3. Mexico sending the occasional Chanaco riders in to try to deal with the longbow and cannon threat, but now we see some Dragoons getting involved. The Dragoons are going to be a perfect wall to beat out those Chanaco riders. I'm wondering when we're going to see those rockets actually make it. Oh, wow, look at those organ guns. Oh, boy, look at the organ guns. They just killed 3 rockets. You gotta watch those things, you know. The organ guns, they can destroy stuff, you know. They can destroy a wide variety of things. Remember, they deal crush damage being a cannon, so just because it's rapid fire, don't think it's like a machine gun. It's like an actual machine cannon, you know. Lots of crush damage. It cuts through armor. Yep, now we start to see the rockets come in again. Must be great for this British here to keep getting shipments to make the rockets, you know what I mean? By the time they siege down more of those houses, I bet they'll already have another shipment ready to get some more rockets. Yeah, GG. Yep, Green Portugal just called it. They're starting to lose their forward base over here, and yep. Good try though. I mean, this was a good... I respect this offense right here. I respect the offense they tried to make over here. GG. Yep. Mexico, the green Portugal and the pink Mexico did a lot of the heavy lifting here, it seems. But we did see some sneaky plays from the yellow Portugal, though. That's for sure. GG, everyone. That awesome game. That was a long one, you know. It gives my viewers a choice. Are you gonna spend money and buy a movie on Netflix, or are you gonna do an hour and a half, watch an hour and a half of this? And I would rather watch this than put some money out for Netflix. So yeah, definitely a good match. You know what I mean? Looking at the post game, it seems like if we do the maths. Yeah, definitely the British, the Germany, and the France really did good on resources. Exceptionally good on resources. And I think that was a big factor in why they were able to keep sustaining, you know what I mean? Of course, you got the real big outlier here, yellow Portugal, resources really low. And then when you move over to military, wow, look though, this is why this was an hour and a half long. Blue Mexico, pink Mexico getting 4,000 kills, followed by green Portugal with 3,000 kills. That's what kept us going. If everybody on that team was like the yellow Portugal, it would have been an easy win, and we probably wouldn't be seeing this match casted today. You know, I love casting these death matches. They are always so action packed, and I learned so much about late game strategy from them. Of like how to plan your attacks, when to coordinate. It's pretty cool, you know. So if you get to do any deathmatch games, even just regular vanilla games in Supremacy, always send the recordings to me to my Discord, Unstoppable Stwetzi. I think it's 1624 or something. Yeah, I love doing these, you know, and I know a lot of people in the Age 3 community want to see more casty games, so I'm going to keep bringing these to you. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I got a couple more coming. I think probably I'm going to start recording either tonight or tomorrow morning, since of course I got tomorrow off thanks to the national holiday. Yeah, so thanks to the presidents for that. See you next time though. Signing off now.